What's good with it? For the Culture Friday, Lucky Lefty podcast. The Onora boys are in the building. I'm Shaun Davis, that dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We are brought to you by Onora Whsikey. OnoraWhsikey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhsikey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. We're going to talk about leftovers. What is Jack Swarbrick leaving in the fridge for Pete Bevacqua? We talked about the TV deal and the apparel deal, but what else needs to be done when Pete Bevacqua takes over? What should be at the top of his list of things to get done for the Notre Dame football program and just Notre Dame athletics in general? Big recruiting weekend, big time video. We saw Rakai Nelson get off the bus, right? I don't think Left has ever seen film of Rakai Nelson. And this might be the first time because Rakai Nelson plays in the area left where they don't play 11 on 11. They don't have enough bodies.
Interesting.
But I'm going to show you some of his basketball film and see what you think about the kid. Break him down. Elijah Rushing's on campus, along with a host of others, commits as well. Freshmen reporting today, getting on campus. Our guy Chris Fink tweeted out he was on campus today. He said he was just leaving to drive back home as I chatted with him a couple of minutes ago. And one of the freshmen shook his hand and said, "Man, I watched you growing up." Left, are you guys starting to become the OGs to these incoming freshmen and the new players? Chris Fink was like, "Man, I feel old now." When a freshman is telling me he watched me.
It definitely sounds like it. I mean, kid was born in the 2010s, and 2008s. It's good that they have been watching Notre Dame for long enough to know we were there.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see them keep that in mind as they try to do better. So Chris Fink, man, set a high standard going from a walk-on to a captain to making big plays and playing the playoffs as a starter. So that's a pretty high achievement. And even getting into the league and bouncing around a little bit like he's doing. So I think it's a really awesome story, but it's also something that's unique in its own, but it's motivational for a lot of people.
Slip Fox himself. We have to get him back on the show coming up soon. But don't forget, YouTube, subscribe, thumbs up, smash it for us, helps with the views. Respond to all of your questions and comments. You guys keep it a buck as we love every day in the chat and after the show. CFB Nation, tap in because we'll be exclusive to CFB Nation this fall. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, audio edibles each and every day. Home of the Misguided Passion. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know we spin it different. We have something special on this For the Culture Friday. Another special guest coming up. And one of the most memorable plays in the history of Notre Dame football might come into play. That's all I have to say. Might come into play. I remember watching it vividly live. We'll talk about it. What's left over for Pete Bevacqua as he takes over? First quarter 2024. What's one of the things, or a few of the things, that he needs to do concerning the football program?
I would say one of them would be going into a position where a lot of things are already up and running. You're going into do you think that the TV and apparel deal will be done before he gets there, or what?
I think the TV, my opinion, it's my opinion, and this has nothing to do with what's taking place the last couple of days. I was hearing the TV deal was pretty much, the numbers are the numbers. Now, the particulars that have to be worked out contractually, that's an entirely different thing. But the numbers have always been 60 to 75. That's That's what it is. Now, whatever haggling is going to be done to kind of narrow it down to what it will be eventually. Those negotiations probably still ongoing, but I think it's pretty safe to say Notre Dame's going to get another upgrade of the deal with the Peacock.
Yeah, I mean, Peacock's putting on some pretty cool things with they got what, the first game of the season on there or something crazy, right? Or
Say it again.
they got Peacock, it has the first NFL game of the season or something like that, right?
First wild card
Yeah, the first wild
game.
card. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I say Peacock, I meant NBC, not the streaming service, but
But
that's what they were known as before the streaming service got launched.
we were definitely a Peacock's first test run. Remember where they had the Navy game or something like that only on Peacock? I didn't watch it, but I think that us being the pioneer of things for NBC and still holding a major deal in the back end of it, I think it just shows how important we are as a program. But Pete's definitely coming into something of a great setup, just like Marcus Freeman. He comes into something that's just a great setup. It's not like you're coming in off of crazy allegations where Jack had to step down, or we just had already crazy issues where we had to hire Pete as an upgrade. This is more of a handing of the passing of the stick, passing of the baton to keep this thing running. I mean, we're on a good pace as it is. I do think he's coming into some decisions of being in leadership for conference talks of other schools and being still the forefront, or the guy that has all the ideas like Jack was for college football. And I think that's an important role to have, especially being an independent.
It's one of the things to talk about what's left over. Let me give you my thoughts on certain things that I don't think Jack Swarbrick wanted to touch. I don't think Jack Swarbrick wanted to be the person to have to make the decision about NIL for Notre Dame as far as moving it forward. It was out of his comfort zone. I think Jack Swarbrick is very much old school in his belief and the student athlete model. And I think it would go against his principles to be the one to kick the door down for Notre Dame. Now, do I think that he wants Notre Dame to move in that direction? I do. I think by making the administrative hires to put people over the NIL collective at Notre Dame and manage that, I think he is saying, yes, this is something that we need to make sure we stay on top of collectively for all of our athletes, to make sure that Notre Dame is doing the best that it can in this particular area moving forward. I don't think he really wanted to touch it, though. I think he wanted to get out of there before things got a little dicey, and things are heading towards a place of legislation and what's going to be taking place with Charlie Baker as the new president of the NCAA. I don't think he wanted to touch that. I also think the apparel deal is something that he probably wanted to leave up to the new AD, because I think he just has a really good relationship with Under Armour, and I think he recognizes that their relationship has run its course. And building a new relationship with I don't think he wanted to go through that. I think he wanted to allow a new AD to have that opportunity to establish the relationship and, make his own decision in that form and fashion. Those are just a couple of things that I think Jack Swarbrick left, but I think he left those things to be done because just wasn't in his best interest to be the one to tackle that. Look.
Yeah, it's a great exit route,
Yeah.
right before it kind of hits the fan where you got to do something. But he's definitely set it up nice for some other things to end out, on a good run where we feel like he should be the David Stern to Adam Silver to things. But, even with that, I think it's a good opportunity to get out before it gets hot. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, things are about to change, and he's getting out before they change. In my opinion, he is doing what um, not Dean Smith, Roy Williams. Roy Williams was honest, and he said, "Yo, this one and done, and NIL is coming." He said, "All of this stuff are things that I'm just not really aware of how to deal with it and how to build a program, and it's time for me to get someone in here that fully understands what needs to be done." So maybe it's that as well. You never know. But we had a listener yesterday that did send me a YouTube clip of a conversation, an interview that Jack Swarbrick had with Pete Bevacqua that's up on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, you can go see it. But it brings me to this something that I saw in a recent interview on Blue and Gold Illustrated, BGI, if I'm not mistaken. And it's comments from one Marcus Freeman. This is what he said, Left. Everything that's brought to my attention, I ask myself if it's something that could serve our players. If it is about money, who cares about money? We need it, we'll do it. Marcus Freeman on Notre Dame's football facilities. Left, the Google probably needed an upgrade when you stepped on campus. So I'm pretty sure that upgrades are needed as far as football facilities. I think the practice facility with the indoor field and the two outdoor fields, I think it's pretty spot on. It's pretty good. But there should be some other things surrounding that to upgrade those facilities.
I mean, but what? I mean, what do you really, in terms of getting the job done to do what? Like anything that we need will get provided, but what is it that we're missing that's not over the top already?
Well, I don't think their offices. Let me tell you something. I looked at maybe I could pull it up. I wanted to talk about this, Left. I looked at a picture that Marcus Freeman took with one of the recruits on yesterday. Marcus Freeman needs to update the candy in his candy bowls in his office, bro. The candy in his candy bowls is not commensurate with the young men that are coming in. He needs some trolleys or some shoes or something that's more modern. It looks like the candy you see on your grandmother's table in his candy dishes in his office, bro. To be honest, he needs to upgrade that. He needs some Sour Patch Kids, some lemon heads, something that the kids can walk in and say, "Oh snap, let me get one of these." Maybe one of the cookie jars with the lemon and strawberry frosted cookies, something to make them say like, "Okay, Coach got the good snacks in his office, the good eats."
It's like the Double Tree cookies downtown.
Yeah. Oh man. I think how many did I get 2 years ago? Left, I had like 4 or 5 cookies.
Yeah, but that's a big memory that you'll have going to that hotel.
Oh man, it was crazy because my wife wasn't with me, but I kept saying, "Man, my wife wants a cookie," just to get an extra cookie.
Yeah.
Hey man, you do what you have to do. Lucky Lefty podcast. You had the whole crew, so you were getting 4 cookies at each rip. I don't know if those cookies made it to the room, but but when we talk about the facilities, Left, I mean the offices can be upgraded. Look, there's nothing. You don't lose anything by making yourself better.
I mean, they upgraded the film room. The film room definitely got upgraded real nice, but they need to get some more people.
Wait a minute, you said that like you were watching film on the old school projectors from high school or something.
It was pretty cool when I was there, and I went back, and it's even better. Like, man, so yeah, when you talk about upgrades, yeah, that needs to be upgraded for whatever reason it was. Mm-hmm. And I know that we get the best, whatever it was, film-wise, we get the best film out. But I mean, from an office standpoint, what needs to be better? Y'all need flat screens and hot tubs in there or something like. Most of the time, they in the same meeting room, the big office room, because they got staff meetings and stuff. So, not too often they even in the individual office.
Well, this is, in a sense, I don't like using the word, but in a sense, this is a battle, an arms battle. When you talk about recruiting, left, it is what it is. And you have to be able to, man, you know what Alabama has in facilities when kids walk in there. You know
Yeah.
what it is. Like Julio needs his own shop. Yeah, make Julio a nice little shop, right? And do the
Well,
same
it's
thing that
kind of
Alabama
converted.
does. Bring old players in the shop, cut hair, and have a show just like they do at Alabama, where the older players talk to the current players about the program and use that to elevate the program and the brand. You have to think moving forward. And maybe Pete Bevacqua, who is an exec coming from that world with NBC Sports, has the mentality to look down the road in that way as far as the brand and to take it to new heights. And they did have a great conversation. I love what Pete Bevacqua said. He's familiar, came from under Lou Holtz, familiar with the program, and truly the relationship he can have with Marcus Freeman hopefully can be more fruitful than any other relationship we've seen between AD and head coach at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to definitely for Marcus Freeman not to get his speeches written for him and to start on solid ground with a guy that he can build a relationship with, not having prior experience with. So hopefully Marcus Freeman can be in his ear and they can be, lock, key, and step. But also, I think of this as the same as recruiting. All those coaches there that got hired by Swarbrick, in my opinion, are more on the hot seat because the guy that hires isn't your guy. He's. So in a sense, it could be like that as well, where we get this magical run of having all these brothers and sisters hired, and they can just as well be gone real fast if they're not getting the job done because the AD's not their guy. He didn't hire him.
That's a
So
good point.
he feels like, man, it's time for a redo. He can easily do that. You know what I mean? But I do think that uh, just the relationship Marcus Freeman will build with the new AD, he can impress him with different things he sees with the program, maybe convince him to buy out some coaches if he needs it done. You know, how much of the good stewardship is already in place where Pete just kind of, is going to go golfing on a lot of situations. Is that still there, or is it really bringing a person in that will really put their mark on it in their way, and maybe it could be different than how we've done things before.
Could be. I think it is a chance for him to have his own relationship. Um, the relationship with Jack Swarbrick was murky at best. Not to say there was an issue between them, but just the way the hiring of Tommy Reese went down, and head coach of offense and all of that stuff, and some people speak of Ron Powlus in certain ways. It's just we'll see the mishandling of the Ludwig situation. We will see moving forward what takes place with this relationship and this situation. But I still say nutrition, buildings. Uh, why wouldn't you want a place to play ping pong or to chill as a football squad? I mean, and people,
But you're
want.
not. It's like That's like saying, why don't you just build a hangout spot in your school or at work?
No, that's not what you do. You
You're
build a
not trying to do
facility. You build a facility that houses a place for nutrition, to eat, barbershop, brand new offices for your football, your baseball, and your athletics. You put everything in there. See, it's not about just putting some little ancillary stuff in there. No, no, no. We're building something that is a real project for the athletic department of Notre Dame, and it also fills the needs of the football team
Well,
with
in
extras.
regards to the football offices, yeah, you can spruce those up a little bit, but as a player, you're not trying to be there. You're already there all day. So
Facts, facts.
from a hangout spot perspective, maybe not as much. Um, so it's just an interesting thing. Like unless you building in lockers that massage you and make you feel better in between practices or something, it's kind of hard to, or some new technology where you can get some type of ice thing. I don't know. It's just like it's real particular because it's like how much do you really need when you already are there all day? You don't really want to be there after you practice. I think it's cool that, for instance, they gave all the guys scooters. Now, when I was there, we had to go through it. Your bike gets stolen. You had to maybe take a bike or two. It was a wild, wild west back then. But a good upgrade they gave the football team was to give them all scooters. Now you flying around campus. Before you had to foot it, and it'd be some tough days where you you banged up or you hurt or it's cold outside or something. And you got to walk all the way across campus, pretty much walk everywhere to get anywhere. And now they give you everybody's scooters. How luxury is that? So if in terms of upgrade, that's something that's beneficial for a student, a student athlete. But other than that, I mean, how much more do you want to put into a goo? I mean, the goo. You got the nice little another thing they could do, they can make sure those refrigerators are stocked up better with drinks.
We're
How about
not,
that?
we're not trying to upgrade the goo. We're trying to replace the goo. It's time for a new goo.
But what? But what in it?
You keep saying, but what? What do you mean? When
What's
you buy your
wrong?
next house, there's always going to be something that you would love to have that makes you go get the next house. Like what are we talking about, Left? You act like the Goog is just perfect, like we're good. We don't need to do anything else.
I'm not saying we don't need to do anything else. I'm saying what is it
Obviously,
that
Marcus Freeman is taking new notes and has a checklist. The man said money's not an issue. If we need it,
we all know money's not an issue at Notre Dame. We hold
no,
on.
it's an issue.
That's a
It is an
default.
issue based upon good
Spending is an
stewardship.
issue. I wish we were like our government, just start sending money to Ukraine or something, just start spending money on the goo. But it's like, what is it that maybe I'm thinking like how they thinking? What do we need more about the goo? We just got a whole new indoor with all type of bells and whistles where that damn near looked like a goo with a field in it. You upgraded the weight room. I'm seeing all type of crazy new contraptions in the weight room. And I thought when I was there, we had a weight room that I thought was pretty good. We didn't even use everything. Some of it was just for show. We had racks and all type of, we only used like 70% of all the stuff in there. And then I
Ladies and
come back, they
gentlemen,
got even more. We
ladies,
used to have things where on the racks, they had these computers where it do all the measurement of your speed for when you lift it. They don't even have that no more. It's just a bunch of ish. What I mean? But that's why I was like, okay, what are you trying to add now? That's what it became when I was there. It was like, y'all doing what is this? You got shutters that fly up and down all of a sudden, and you got these things, but it'd be like come and go. We'll test it out. All right, we don't want that. We'll test it out. All right, do the catapult. All right, we do something. So it's always something that's being implemented. We had one year where all of us had to do this biometric things. We get jumping in things on computer like we thought we were about to be in Madden or something. I mean, all type of stuff. So you don't know what they really doing because you're like, all right, you got all this data on me, and
you're
we
contradicting yourself, Left. You know that, right? You're all about the athletes and NIL and them getting as much as they can. But you want them to live like the Flintstones when it comes to facilities. What was
actually pertaining to helping us, like the scooters. They gave everybody scooters. That was hard. I thought that was probably the best thing they did for the players in 5 years was give everybody scooters. Because that was one of the hardest things for us when we was there. Yeah, we had the indoor could have been higher because we start kicking into it and we needed more space. Okay, and we got that addressed. Other than that, you had Notre Dame. We get the best food. Now for instance, when Coach Kelly was there, they didn't have training table at the Goo. So him bringing training table to the Goo, that's a huge thing. Okay, so I can agree with you on that. Yeah,
so training table at the Goo. How about just having your own chefs on staff with your own place where food is prepared and you can sit down and eat every day for all of the athletic teams. All of the athletic teams should have a weight program, a nutrition program. Everybody, men's, women's. Wait a minute. We're talking about Notre Dame. Money is not an issue. So what are we talking about?
Money is definitely not an issue, but it's a spending issue. Spending is the issue.
Left. Let me tell you something. Your dream crib. I'm about to end this right now. Your dream crib. Your dream crib. How many bedrooms?
You probably want 4 or 5,
4 or 5. How many bathrooms? Don't shortchange the boys and make them use the same bathroom.
No, about 3 or 4.
Okay. Let them have their own. Now, let's get into the kitchen. What's the most important thing to you? The kitchen?
The center island.
You want granite, nice marble top? What's the shape you want? You want it elevated?
The rectangle elevated, yeah.
Elevated? Okay. You want people to be able to sit there and eat?
Well, more of like it's like your where you put all the food at.
Okay.
Maybe have a stove in the middle or something, because you gotta have 2 stoves.
Okay. So your sink, you want the farmhouse sink.
Yeah, with the
big farmhouse sink. See, we're talking about stuff that's you're talking about the top of the line stuff. Left. You kind of contradicting yourself. You're killing me.
We already have the top of the line.
No, I tend to disagree with you. I go to practices. Come on now.
Okay, so Come on
now, Left.
How nice is the indoor stuff?
Let me keep it a buck with you. Notre Dame's offices are not better than Illinois' football offices. I'm keeping it 100.
You're talking about position coaches' offices.
I'm talking about the full facilities. I'm just keeping it a buck with you.
What about their facilities are like better than our facilities? Because the indoor,
they're just better. They're just upgraded. What do you mean?
See. If it was
instead of a double sink, they have a nice farmhouse sink with a nice spout overlay.
We have everything they have except it's smaller. I think it should be bigger. I think the offices should be bigger. But other than that, we got everything Illinois has. We got better food for sure.
No.
What?
No. When I was at Illinois as a student, they had chefs.
You talking about you talking. No, we got. What do you mean we have chefs?
They had their own chefs, their own staff that was strictly for the football team. Period.
Yeah,
and that was years ago. I can only imagine what it looks like now.
They have chefs at Notre Dame for sure. They cook your omelets for breakfast and all that, and make your little individual.
Wait a minute. You talking about the people that in the certain halls?
It's only. Well, they got more now, but which is crazy because they upgraded that. They used to just have the North and South dining hall, and then you got your little shops. Now they got like food courts at Notre Dame because of the addition to the stadium. So you either go into the food court, they got like all type of fancy whole food type of stuff. Way different than that's what I'm saying. It's just way different. They've done obviously more stuff.
You see what Shaun Stewart said?
Yeah, that's for the
Okay.
student.
Okay.
That's for the student body.
Okay.
But the players have their own stuff too.
Illinois is not for the student body.
No, I agree. Yeah, the players.
So let's get back. Let's get back to this dream home. Because you want the vaulted ceilings, you want the high ceilings, or you want them lower because you want to conserve energy, like with the air conditioning and the heat and all of that stuff. You don't care about that.
I like the ranch one
ranch. One level. Okay. You don't have a pool in the back?
I'm not a swimmer, so
it would be though.
So maybe more like a smaller pool, more like those decorative, like it's just like a little river type of thing.
So what type of flooring? You doing hardwood or you doing marble throughout the crib?
Man, I'm a carpet fan.
You're a carpet fan?
What is that?
In your bathroom, are you doing the heated floors in the bathroom?
Oh, they got heated. See you.
I'm just giving you the options. It's your crib. I'm just giving.
I've never heard that.
You never heard of the heated coils underneath the tiles in the bathroom?
I heard of heated seats in your car.
No, the heated coils under the tile in your bathroom so your feet can be warm at night. You know, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're getting out the shower. These are amenities.
Oh, that's in Redondo Beach. Those are the ones over there.
No, they have that here in Chicago. That's not in Redondo.
You would like the ones over here in Redondo for sure.
So, are you getting like the classic, tub, old school tub, or are you putting the tub into the wall, like in the backdrop? Like, see, what I'm getting to is you love amenities. But you're hating on the amenities that need to be upgraded for Notre Dame. But you yourself love amenities. That's what I'm picking up.
You want to be at your house. You don't want to be at the Goo all day.
Who says? I tell you now. If I were a football player on any campus, I would spend the majority of time at the facilities. If the facilities were dope.
You're spending time at the facility, majority of your time at college. In general,
and I'm spending even more time if the facilities are extremely dope.
Because because the difference is you're in college.
Okay, Left. See,
70% of your time in college.
I understand.
You're a college football player.
Okay.
You're at the facility, even when school's out of school.
Absolutely.
So when school gets in school,
and
you get around week 6 or 7.
Yes.
Man, I'm going home, bro.
Let me ask you a question. How many rooms in your crib do you actually spend a lot of time in?
Oh, okay. See, that's different though.
It's gonna be one.
At home, because see, there goes your homebodies. You got people that like being at home.
And there are football players that are facility bodies.
Listen, no, you're not. Okay, I'll give you a picture. Your first semester at school, because you go early. Let's say you go early, right? You super excited. Boom, I'm going early. I'm getting out of high school, getting out of this 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock schedule, having my own time. Boom, I'm going to college. First day. Wake up at 5. The time you get back to your room, because you at the facility of the day, you're at the facility 14 hours. By the time you get back to your room on your first day of college, it's going to be 12 o'clock. I don't know if it's like how it's supposed to be. It's going to be 12 o'clock. You're going to be like, oh my goodness. And then when you get back, because of how it's set up, you in the dorms and stuff, you're like, man, it's a lot going on. It's a lot, even when you get back. So it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. I don't want, you make friends and stuff. The next day, you're back there at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So by the end of your first 2 weeks, you're like, oh my goodness, I just want to be a college student. Yeah, the Goog is great. Yeah, we got the hot tub and the cold tub because you're there already, so you already using it. But when they say, coaches be like, all right, I'm going home, y'all can go home. You're going home. Only a few, like myself, because I was a Goog head. Ev was a Goog head. Ev would go in But it's only 2 or 3, because at the end of the day, even if you wanted to be a Goog head, you had Capitol Police guarding the Goog most of the time. That's the other thing. So even if you wanted to stay after you've been there for 14 hours of the day with all the hot tubs and cold tubs and whatever, You got Capitol Police, TS. I'm talking about they like you can't even. You try to go to because you know you got the access card. You like, oh, I'm a late night. No, they'll meet you at the door.
Yes. Yes.
You know how Jamal Adams come to the Jet Stadium? He
Yeah.
try to. Oh,
Yeah.
They be like, what you doing here? Like you don't even go there. I just want to get. Nah, you can't even. Nah. We're just trying to work out. Nah, you can't. Nah, it's not the time for that.
It's not the time. Wow.
So between that and you already being there all day, what else do you need at the Google?
I'm just saying.
You do your laundry.
You tend to love amenities and upgrades for everything else, but when it comes to facilities
give it to me
and
at
the
my
Google,
door.
okay.
Give me.
Dude, you don't have enough room in your dorm to make upgrades like that.
But that's what needs to be addressed then. Don't be giving me another hot tub.
Alex Martinez, thank you for tapping in. You go to ND to be a student first, right? You don't go to ND to have the high-tech, brand new locker rooms. You go so your library doesn't flood like LSU. Alex, first of all, let me explain something to you. I wasn't an athlete, and I made my choice of college, which my last four were Michigan, Howard, University of Illinois, and USC. Because of the family situation, USC really wasn't viable because my father had literally just closed down his company to start a ministry. I didn't want to put that pressure on my pops. But if it was left up to me to not have to think about other things, I would have gone to USC. You know why? The girls, the dorms, the weather. Like, let's stop acting like the football players aren't the only ones that look at amenities to make decisions. You stop that student stuff. It's still amenities. It's still amenities.
But that's to the school though. We just talk about to a place you don't want to be all day.
Look, when kids go to schools, amenities matter.
Yes,
I don't care if you're an athlete or a regular student. Amenities, the size of the dorm room matters.
Yes, that's the dorm, but we're talking about a facility where you're not living in, and at the same time, you're also there all the time. So yeah, they have now. Notre Dame doesn't have the worst stuff. They got, we're probably better than 80% of other college programs on a facility.
You said 80?
And I'm talking about all the college football programs out there. That's a lot of college football.
Okay.
So I would say even 90% because we try all the new stuff out first. So 90% are better. Okay, now you're there all the time. You already have all this stuff and more. You don't even use all this stuff half the time. What else do you need there that will make you want to be there longer than the 14 hours you're there already?
Well, Left, don't ask me. Because I've never
your laundry done.
I've never used the Google as an athlete, and I've never used the facilities as an athlete. But guess what? When we come back, when we come back, we're going to talk to somebody that can chime in on the facilities at Notre Dame and keep it a buck about what needs to be done or whether or not changes need to be made. See, because I can't leave it up to you, Left. You're too contradictory, man. You're too contradictory, Left.
I give it the perfect example. It's like the gym.
Okay. And then we got our special guest coming up, but go ahead. Give the last example.
24-hour fitness or Lifetime or Equinox or whatever you YMCA.
Okay.
They have a bunch of nice amenities. That's why you pick a gym because they got a steam room, a sauna, the Olympic pool. They got the back weights and all that. Okay. How much more do you need to a gym you already have a membership to that you go to every day when you don't want to be there all day? You got the one Lifetime gym. They got the you get a little smoothie. You get your steam room. They got a little massage and Pilates class. You can do it all. But how long are you spending at the gym with all those amenities? How long maximum are you spending at the gym?
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Look, I'm just trying to get to the guests. I have nothing else to say. I want to talk to someone with a level head. YouTube, subscribe. Hit the like button. Hey, we come back. Special guest right here. One of the greatest plays. Man, you talk about one of the most memorable plays in Notre Dame history. We'll get to it. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We're back. Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know. We spin it different. We are the home of the misguided passion. Shaun Davis, Malik, Zaire, the Onora boys are definitely in the building, and we are pleased on this For the Culture Friday to welcome in another great from the Notre Dame Brotherhood. We welcome in former Notre Dame wide receiver from the PA, none other than Rakai Nelson. Welcome in to the Lucky Lefty podcast. So, hey, Rob.
I heard what you were saying.
I saw you in the background. I'm just going to give you the stage. You go right ahead.
Well, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, man. A few years ago, now this is a true story. A few years ago, I took Michael Parsons up to Ohio State, right? Because Urban Meyer was there, right?
Uh-huh.
Urban Meyer was my receiver coach at Notre Dame. So he was really interested in Micah. So I'm like, okay, haven't been to a facility in a while. Let me take Micah up there. I shut up Ohio State, right? Listen, it felt like he was in a music video. That's how great the amenities are. It felt like he was in a music video. Listen to me. Big plush couches, jet black, big screen 70-inch TV. This is in the locker room now. A barber shop, a barber chair. Here go the showers. Barber chair in the middle. Like, you telling me as soon as I jump out the shower, I'm getting a haircut or before? That's why I can literally roll out of the barber chair and then take a shower. And when I say that, I mean literally. So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Coach Meyer, what's going on here, man? He's like, man, we set it up like this, and this it seems to be working. We're going all these recruits, and everybody loves it. I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. Like, and I asked, I said, do some people not even go back to their dorm? He said, many players don't go back to their dorm. They stay at the facility. That's how nice it is. So Notre Dame, they have some stuff going on, but compared to these other places, even Rutgers, Maryland. Listen,
yeah, Rutgers look nice.
Rutgers look nice.
They just
Maryland's
upgraded.
Crazy. Notre Dame has to step the game up a little bit on that. I'll just be honest with you. They do. I know players don't leave. It's literally documented. Players don't leave Ohio State after their locker room. They stay there. They go to sleep and do their work and everything. Watch TV, eat food. They got buffet upstairs. It's crazy. On call, cook all day. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this is all true. Like, this ain't hyped up. It was so crazy that I'm like, come on, Coach Meyer. This is overboard. Nah, man. That's how we got to do. We got to compete. We got to compete against the best. I'm like, well, y'all have the best. Y'all have the best facility I've ever seen in my life. Like, flat out. Like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
And
like,
that's
literally crazy.
Look, and I'm just saying, just in life in general, amenities matter, man. Amenities matter. They matter.
Yeah, they do.
It's like now, look, when we grew up, high school, your boy cut your hair, you gave him $5.
Yeah.
You got to college, you found somebody on campus, you gave him a $1, gave him a 10, he was good, right?
Yeah.
Now,
$50.
they want 50
minimum.
Don't ask for a razor line, and that's another 10. And you have to tip. This is where it is, but that's the game.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
With all of that, you want amenities. Like with your haircut, if I'm paying that, look, I have an appointment. I don't want to be sitting here waiting an hour.
They wash your hair now.
Absolutely.
They want us to blow dry it out.
All of that.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It comes with the package. That's all I'm saying. You just need a little upgrade left. You act like I said the Goog was trash.
No, the Goog's not trash. I just, the whole putting a beauty salon in there. What does that do for us? I don't know if that.
But it's not for you. It's for the kids.
There you go.
I'm just saying for the kids. Yes, after the recruitment, after you a junior, you done. You don't
care. Yeah, you're right.
Junior year, I'm going out of the Goog. I'm good. I got a crib.
Right. Facts.
I done got a charger and a dime.
But wait a minute. You got a crib. You got a crib, right? You said you got a crib off campus, right?
Yeah,
I bet you that crib has all the amenities that you want.
No, I'm saying, that's why I'm going home. I'm not staying at the Goog all day.
But I'm saying, but you went and found a spot with the amenities that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my point. Amenities matter.
Yeah.
No matter where you go and evolve in life, amenities matter, man. And that's something that Notre Dame needs to recognize. Rakai just said it. Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm done with it, man.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
I try to speak sense into him, Rakai. He just
Okay. So, do you think a bowling alley would help?
I'm
just saying that's a great amenity, right?
Listen. You saying that about a bowling alley, but I will really listen. Did Ohio State have a bowling alley or not? I'm gonna say it's 50-50 chance they did have one. No, I'm telling y'all. Watch when y'all look this stuff up later. Y'all be like, Rakai was telling the truth. Like he literally was telling. Like it's a 50% chance they had a bowling alley there. But by then I was so overwhelmed, I kind of didn't even register. I'm like, got a bowling alley too. That's kind of like, okay, check off. They got that too. So it was just, it was wild. It was wild.
So Rakai, I don't know if people, because we have some younger Notre Dame fans in here, dude. You are probably part of one of the top 5 plays in the history of First of all, my boy JJ, the fact he was able to stay up on his feet, dropping back, and then
that one,
okay, and then to find you.
I thought you told the Air Force one. The Air Force one was great.
The Air Force one was crazy too. I know exactly what you're talking about. But Jarius Jackson
had us basically an undefeated season by but they called it incomplete because they have replay at the time. Yeah, and then I thought the LSU one was crazy too. But yes, I understand. I know what you're talking about. When we beat Michigan, they were the number one team. They were the number one team in the country. Tom Brady was the quarterback, and Jairus should have fell. He tripped. He tripped on the center, stepped on his foot. He was this close to falling, kept his balance, raised up and threw a strike. So that was wild. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Just talk about that atmosphere, dude. Because like you said, your hated rival coming to Notre Dame Stadium. You didn't know he was going to be the greatest NFL quarterback all time at the time. But he's a starting quarterback, Tom Brady, and you guys come in and just ruin everything and pull off one of the biggest upsets in the history of Notre Dame. Talk about the atmosphere.
The atmosphere was crazy. It wasn't at the big house this time. It was at South Bend. So, we played them at the big house, that one time. We barely lost by like 3 points or something like that with what's in there and all that. And it was real crazy. And that was amazing because you couldn't hear the cadence. We got to South Bend now. We're at our home. So now this is a little bit more comfortable for us. But, it's loud. Of course, it's sold out. And, they got a good team. Like you said, nobody knew Tom Brady would be the best of all time. But, man, he was always really good. He always had stiff competition behind him and always had to fight for his job. But I think that helped him down, during his career when he was playing. So, but so he used to adversity. He used to climb right over top of it. So it all makes sense to me looking back. But the atmosphere there was crazy, man. It was just packed house, hot. Michigan got their nice helmets on and people wearing Michigan's or Michigan and T-shirts and all that. And it's loud and it's crazy. And they got top DBs, Hendricks, and big safeties. And, what's the linebacker? Dahani Jones. And they got all these great names that play in the NFL. Probably their whole defense played in the NFL. So they had this great team, these big linemen. Everything was just like overwhelming. Like, wow, we're in South Bend playing against Michigan. They're ranked number 1. We're ranked pretty high that year. I think number 9 or something like that. Because we came back with all that number 1 class that had all those guys. Now they're starting to mature, like Corey Minor and Jarius and Autry and all them. So we're ranked pretty high too, but we're not ranked number 1. So, we end up playing against them. And I remember Coach Meyer grabbed me. We've been working on this play all week. How they prep you. So he's like, God, listen, we're in the plays. I'm like, okay. So I kind of like fake stalk block for a second. And then I go and Jarius do a little fake and everything. No, it messes up. So I'm wondering. So I come off. I don't see a player in front. So I just take off and run. I'm like, no block, no player to block. He kind of blitz. So I kind of like touched him. I said, well, I got to go. I ran my wheel route. I looked up like the ball ain't here yet. Damn, like, what's going on? Meanwhile, Jairus is stumbling back about to fall, keeps his balance like, no, I'm not giving this up. Raises up, throws a bomb. Now, mind you, when you're not open, you could drop it.
Yeah.
You can drop it. I'm used to competition on my catches. This is wide open. So I'm like, okay. So I'm running. I'm like, okay. So I just use all my technique. I didn't try to turn around. I didn't try to jump and do all this weird stuff. I said, just pay attention to my technique. Okay, ball to left hand shoulder. Okay, boom. Okay, watch it. Fingertip, pull in. Okay, I got it. So now you can see I'm kind of like, I got it. I was kind of shocked. That's why I slowed up by the end zone. Like, okay, let me skip to the end zone a little bit because, okay, it's all good now. So I'll finish it. I go into the goal, and then the catcher like, yeah, you scored. Get hyped. Basically, I'm like, yay. So that's what was going on through my head. But we ended up knocking them off that year, 21-14. It was a great game. It was one of the best memories I had in college football. And, I'm just grateful to, be able to experience that. Yeah.
What got you to Notre Dame? Now, a lot of players, you went through the transition. You were able to be recruited by Lou Holtz before he eventually retired and moved on, and Bob Davie took over. But just talk about that relationship. And it's something that you said that he talked about. Can I trust you? Do you care? Does that still apply? Do you say that to the guys that you deal with on your 7-on-7 squad and the guys that you train and coach?
The guys, I try to instill some of that into them, but let's get back to yes. Coach Holtz, he was like a father figure. Let's start back with the first question. How did I get to Notre Dame? The thing about it was, so mind you, at that time, Florida was throwing the ball everywhere around the whole field. They were running that running gun crazy stuff. So what happened was Spurrier used to always come up to Harrisburg. I'm like, he's like, well, Rakai, I would never come up here if I didn't want you. Like, you're going to play. Like, so I'm really thinking in my head, well, I might go to Florida. So Spurrier's up here, popping up in Harrisburg all the time, like popping by the house and taking pictures. There's no social media at that time, but, we're just kind of like, I'm like, wow, I watched them on TV all the time. All the receivers are going first round every single game. Every single year. I knew Ike Hilliard. I knew Jaquez Green. I knew all those guys, Riddell Anthony, from a visit I took with them. But when I had my visit with Coach Holtz, it's kind of like you said, rang in my head, like this is guy, like, okay, so when my dad asked about the grades, Coach Zook was like, one of the recruiters, like, go out in the car and grab that, grab all the stuff. Like, you're not prepared with you. You're not worried about nobody. Which is fine. Listen, I know Florida's the type of place where you go in there, you play your 3 years, you leave. Nobody graduates. I know. I understand that. But it kind of looked, my dad looked at me like, damn, they're not even prepared for like to talk about score anything. And when you look at that compared to Notre Dame, Notre Dame was more talking about life after football. Coach Holtz already guarantee you, hey, you start for me, you're going to play in the NFL, you're going to get a shot. So I knew that with the history of Notre Dame. So I started weighing my options like, hold on. You could go to Florida, go crazy, junior year leave, get all this money, not be prepared for different situations, later on. Or you could go to Notre Dame, have, they don't throw the ball as much, but go here, make some connections, network, beat good people, and same situation could occur where you could play in the NFL, things of that nature, barring anything happens injury-wise and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, when I told Coach Spurrier, this is what he said to me. When I told Coach Spurrier, hey, man, I don't know, man. I just think that, I may have to go to Notre Dame. He said, well, Mr. Rakai, every time you see a Gator catch the ball, it could have been you. He hung up the phone. That's what he did to me. He hung up the phone, and it was weird because after I got injured and I came back from the injury, and then Spurrier was at the Redskins, I went up to a practice up in Carlisle right by me. And the son was like, well, my dad hold a lot of grudges. I'm like, damn, he's still thinking about that? Like, he's like, yeah, well, my dad hold a lot of grudges, man. You didn't come to Florida, man. My dad. And I knew guys on the team, like Ronaldo Winter was on a football team for the Redskins. Jaquez Green was on a football team. My friend from Harrisburg, Kenny Watson, was on a football team. So I had a lot of guys I already knew that knew me, and he knows me. So basically, he held a grudge to, I guess, I don't know. He didn't pick me. So, you know what I mean? He didn't give me another shot. So, but that's what happened. But I am happy now looking back at it, looking at the overall picture that I ended up going to Notre Dame, because at the end of the day, it's about relationships. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about relationships. That's how I feel about it. So, but like you said, Coach Holtz, let's get back to that point. Coach Holtz did say, hey, Rakai, like you said, father figure. To me, like a father figure. Hey, Rakai, do you trust me? If you trust me, I trust you. Can I trust you? And I'm like, yes, you can trust me. So anything I would say, anything would happen during the game, or this would happen, or that would happen. That's why if you look at that play against Air Force, when they said I dropped it and I caught it with a replay, he went to war for me so heavy because he looked me in my face and said, "You caught that, right?" I said, "Yes, I caught it. Caught it clean." He snapped out, went crazy on the referees. I think he might even got a flag because he just knew I was telling the truth. So he went all in for me. So, yeah, I mean, Coach Holmes, man, I seen him Purdue game, was that last year? See him at the Purdue game last year. We talked, man. We had a good time. And, he loves me and I love him. So,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yo, that left, you don't have that type of relationship with Kelly, do you? Lucky Lefty podcast. Just teasing you. We're going to have more Rakai Nelson, but we want to get to one of the major reasons he's here. And what all three of us love to do is to give back. June 19th, virtual 5K. We talked to Bennett Jackson yesterday, but Rakai, you're involved with it as well. Just talk about that, your involvement with it, and why it's so important.
Well, yeah, with the Host Hero Foundation also is involved in that. One of the heroes, Trevor and Reggie Brooks, and Trevor reached out to me about that. And Juneteenth, I'm not gonna sit there and lie like I knew about it for so many years. I didn't. So this became light to me eventually over social media, and I started reading more into it. So when Trevor reached out to me saying, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this, Rakai. I know you are your host hero, but you're one of our, networking, connecting the dots as far as what he's trying to do with the foundation and with taking one of the things we're trying to do is take inner city youth, underserved communities and kids to experience different things, travel different places, see Notre Dame, go to the grotto, experience something different. So what we're doing is we decided to do a 5K run to raise money for our foundation and be able to raise money to get these kids out there to experience these different things. So that's what we're doing.
Once again, June 19th.
Yeah.
Runsignup.com. Runsignup.com. Virtual 5K on June 19th.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You talk about Lou Holtz and you talk about everything with the Notre Dame football program. Deke Cooper had a nephew that had an offer from Notre Dame, was interested in Notre Dame. Eventually, I believe he committed to Georgia. You work with kids all the time. You mentioned Micah Parsons that you had a relationship with. What's the balance between coaching kids and trying to steer them towards your alma mater and trying to look out for them and do what's best for them? Like, what's the balance of that as a guy? Because, of course, you want Notre Dame to get great players. I'm sure you were like, yo, I got this kid, Micah Parsons. Y'all might want to come check him out.
We're going to touch on that, but I'm going to tell you something about what I'm thinking about Notre Dame is they're dropping the ball in Pennsylvania anyways. So, like you said,
they forgot about Parsons, that Big 33 game was a big deal for a long time.
The guy, Kenny Johnson, that's my guy.
Yeah.
He's on the Chambers. That's my guy. I tell Notre Dame about these guys. You missed out on Micah. You missed out on Julian Fleming at Ohio State, number 4, gonna be their top target this year. You missed out on Kenny Johnson that's going to Pitt. So Notre Dame, I do try to do that, but they're dropping the ball somewhere. I'm not talking to the wrong people. I know Swarbrick's about to leave too.
Man, listen,
but
I feel you on that. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, somebody's dropping the ball somewhere in Pennsylvania because we have connects here. Myself, Mr. P, football, different avenues I work with, different companies I work with, as far as they do the same thing I do, maybe on a bigger scale, that's been around for years. And we have these players, and we're like, yo, he'd be a good fit for Notre Dame. he's a good fit for Notre Dame. I try to reach out. Like I had to pop up in there and bang on the door one time. Well, Reggie Brooks was there. It was a little bit better, but he's not there now. He's not doing that full time now. He's doing a Host Herald Foundation and managing that now.
Right.
So, but when he was there, it was working. I need that other connect where whoever Swarbrick brings in or whoever they bring in after Swarbrick, I need that connect because if you guys get it or if I get it, I need it because I'm trying to. I could not I'm saying me personally, but we could single-handedly with a couple other people build up all the spots they need filled just from Pennsylvania guys.
Hey, let me tell you something
about Chicago, huh?
Yo, you know how I feel. Look, when Notre Dame was Notre Dame, it was PA, it was Ohio, and it was Chicago.
That's right.
That's what it was.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's
With
right.
a few people from Florida and Texas mixed in, but at the core, it was PA, Chicago, Ohio.
Yeah.
And when you ignore
that's what it was. He's right.
Yeah, when this man said Micah Parsons, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, because I know Micah Parsons went to Penn State, but I watched Micah Parsons. He could have played at Notre Dame. He could have been a smart
guy. He's a smart guy. You know, he's smart. He's savvy. He's a great athlete. Julian, like I said, Julian Fleming. That's another guy that Kenny Johnson's right now going to Pitt. You don't think you want to go to Notre Dame? And then on top of that, I got a guy right now. Well, I know his dad pretty good. I don't train him actually, but I know he's a lineman. He's going to go to James Madison. His name is Frank Robel. He's a top wrestler in Pennsylvania. He's a stud, stout, 305 pounds, just thick. Man, I'm tagging Notre Dame. I'm trying to hit them and listen. Hey, y'all need to look at this guy. He's going to play center at James Madison. Y'all listen, he's going to be an All-American at James Madison. What are y'all doing? Like, what Notre Dame? What's going on? Like, why aren't y'all really hitting Pennsylvania like I used to? Like you said, when the championship years were there. I know it's a long time ago. And also when we were winning over 9 games every year.
Yeah.
That was when they was hitting Ohio, Chicago, Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania. That's the truth. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Now they were in on one of our favorite kids from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, Big Caleb Brewer. Was a big time lineman, offensive lineman. And then once Harry left, the new O-line coach came in. He really didn't recruit him the same way Harry did. So, the state of Pennsylvania has always been important to Notre Dame. Now you look, bro. Please tell me from Harrisburg. Please tell me you got a Ricky Waters story, dude. Because that cat.
Not necessarily Ricky Waters. I know Ricky Waters. I seen him even when I was growing up, just walking in 3rd grade and see him in high school and stuff like that. He just walk past, hey, how you doing? Like this, I didn't know really too much about him. Don't really have too many Ricky Waters stories. I do have a LaShawn McCoy story though. So LaShawn up the street from me, that's another guy that could have went to Notre Dame. They missed out on LaShawn McCoy. Think about that. So because I was coach at McDevitt for a second at that time, and then I had, got to work. There's just too much stuff going on. I was like, I can't really dig into that coaching. It was real early, too, when LaShawn was younger. He was like a junior. What I'm saying is in high school. What I'm saying is LaShawn right now, I just left his groundbreaking. He's building 48 units up here on 6th Street up here in Midtown. So I left that groundbreaking just now. But he's doing a lot in the community, too, right now. And he's always back in Harrisburg. Shit, he's here right now. So LaShawn McCoy, I would say LaShawn McDevitt. Okay, McDevitt. Ricky Waters, best running back. LaShawn McCoy, I don't know who's the best running back, but I can tell you this. It's the only school in the country that has 2 10,000-yard rushers at one school. Only place in the world that has 2 10,000-yard rushers at one school. McDevitt. McDevitt's a powerhouse. Ricky Waters and LaShawn McCoy are cool. I know they did some events and stuff together. They're cool. They know each other pretty well. Receiver-wise, I would say either, I have to probably put myself number 1. I probably would. You know what I mean? As far as in that school. But LaRon McCoy, LaShawn's brother, was pretty good too. And he ended up going to IUP and then going to Arizona Cardinals. And it's a couple other guys, Fred Lee's, a couple other good receivers and stuff like that there. But no, Ricky Waters and LaShawn, they're great. They're great player, great people, and like I said, they have history behind them. Like that's the only school in the country that has 10,000-yard rushers, which is crazy.
Yeah.
If you think of it.
That is crazy. Who's the man? Crazy. Is Will the last great player we got out of PA?
Who?
Will Fuller? Is that the last?
Will is. Will may be, but I thought you had
Josh Adams.
I thought you had that lineman just now.
Mike McGlinchey, Josh Adams.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got the football event. Yeah. One of those guys they were at the event and stuff. Yeah. So I would say Mike McGlinchey is another lineman too. There's another lineman too that was just there too. I forgot his name though. But
I know they're in thick. I don't know if you can give like a recruiting report for the fans, but they're on a kid named Malachi Williams out of Philly. Malachi Williams out of Philly. He's a outside linebacker, defensive end. You know what? We this first time ever, dude. We've never done this. We're gonna do it right here with our guy. I'm gonna show film.
I'm
gonna show film.
I gotta show some film.
I gotta show some films just so you know.
Yeah.
And this kid, man, he's one of my favorite, of course, coming out of that area, whether it's the Pennsylvania or the Jersey area.
Yeah.
You know this is gonna be a battle. Yeah. And you pretty much know you're fighting Penn State right off the bat. Right off the bat. So here we go, Malachi Williams, man. This kid.
Yeah.
Woo. Let's get to it. Left, you already know. You've seen the film.
Oh, he got some good size on him, too.
Yeah. Nice, long kid. Good speed off the edge.
Oh, yeah. He cut that corner good.
And I was talking to someone locally, and they were talking about the fields they play on aren't exactly the best in the Philadelphia area, but
yeah, look at that.
So there's definitely talent in PA.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But my whole thing is this: he should be being recruited by Notre Dame. Then is he?
Yeah, he's being recruited.
Is he being recruited? Okay.
Yeah, he's being recruited. They got on him later. They got on him late in the process, but they made some strides, and now it's just a matter of closing the deal. Yeah. I think they have some other kids. Elijah Rushing, which is the #1 defensive end.
I heard about him. Yeah.
From Arizona, he's on campus this weekend for official visit. They're going after Justin Scott, the kid from Chicago that everybody wants. So it might end up being a numbers game for Malachi, but I love the kid. Like you said, the PA area continues to give college football all types of man. Look, I know he mentioned Fleming, but if he mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr., see this left. This is what I'm talking about, left. This is what I'm talking about, bro.
We played against them. Yeah, John Harris played against them a few years back when Marvin Harrison was just like a senior, 17-year-old. Harrisburg, I think Harrisburg beat him too, but Marvin Harrison Jr. He's probably the best college football player in the country right now overall. I think just because because his size, he has his dad's quick twitch and his route running ability. He has great size. He's very flexible, really athletic, could jump out the building, fast, and he can run the whole route tree to perfection. I'm gonna have to tell you, blocking well, he could block good. Ryan Hartline, Hartline's his coach, he was a route runner himself. So all he's doing is getting more and more, shaped out, more and more shaped out. So I would have to say, if I'm a GM and I don't care if I don't even need a receiver.
You taking him one?
I think I'm taking him #1.
Wow. Even over Caleb.
I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. #1, man.
Left, what do you think?
Not because I'm a receiver either. Not because I'm a receiver. Just because I know whatever quarterback he plays with, he's going to make them better.
Absolutely. And that's why we in Chicago, we sit and we pray for the health of Bryce Young, but we pray that the Panthers lose every game so that the Bears end up with that #1 pick
Oh wow.
And Justin Fields can throw to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Left, it's on and popping. Yo, Left, you know it. You know it. It's on and popping, boy. You can rock with Kirk Cousins all you want to.
Man, that'd be amazing.
Let Marvin Harrison Jr. fall into the Bears' lap.
Woo!
With Justin Fields?
That'd be crazy.
Let him fall into the Bears' lap and watch what happens. Magic.
Man.
It's going to be magic, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Rakai, before we let you go, man. EA Sports.
Okay.
The college football game is coming back out.
Okay.
They are offering, according to reports, $500 for the name, image, and likeness rights to every college football player.
That's it.
But you just answered my question. Hey,
I mean, come on, man. No, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. No, $500, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I'm sorry. No, that's not gonna work. No. They gotta get it somebody that's a little bit more smarter than that, not try to be a little bit that greedy and figure out a better number than that. Starters should get this much. Second string should get this much. Third string, maybe on the roster, should get this much. Not $500, and it should be like a unit. Like if the unit, see, I don't download. See, I don't really play games like that. My son does, but I think they do it offline now. So if it's $12 or $15 to download it, probably more than that. Say it's $30 to download it or something like that. I mean, you telling me how that dollar, or it's a way to be chopped up because it's being downloaded millions of times. It's a way to be chopped up. You can do 5 cents a player, starters 5 cents a player. It's a way to do it where everybody's going to get their money still.
Right.
Everybody's still going to be satisfied, but it's greed involved in that. Come on, man, $500, that's ridiculous. You can take that and just $500.
That's what they're doing with it. That's what they're doing with just.
Yeah, I can't do nothing. We're going out to eat, man. Everybody, me, you, Malik, everybody going out to eat. That's it. Yeah, one meal. That's it.
One meal, definitely.
Last supper. Last supper.
You want to talk about, you found your plug. Your recruiting plug, you got a name?
Yeah.
Shoot it my way.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, shoot it my way. I'll make sure.
Yeah.
It gets to the right. Yes, sir. I'll make sure the right people.
I'm good then.
Find out. Yeah,
I'm good then. Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna connect after the show.
Yeah, because we lost some players. I'm telling you, watch when y'all see. Listen, watch when y'all see. Quote my words. Watch when y'all see Kenny Johnson next year break. He gonna end up. I'm not saying he's gonna start, but he's gonna end up being a third receiver next year, along with Phil Jerkovich. I do talk to Phil still, but Phil should stay at Notre Dame. But Phil Jerkovich gonna find Kenny Johnson. You're like, that's the guy we're kind of.
If Phil had stayed in Notre Dame, he might have caught a case. So I didn't want Phil to stay. Phil, we wanted Phil to get out of there. Then we left. Like Phil might have caught a case. He might have assaulted somebody if he stayed in Notre Dame. So he had good reason to leave.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, damn, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Phil's from your area too. That's crazy. I didn't even remember that.
But yeah, we're gonna he's at Pitt now, but we're gonna have to wrap though, because I got some. Man, I always have guys, man. I always look at Notre Dame, but see, now that I open my mouth, you're the plug, so I'll definitely talk to you.
I'll definitely connect you in the right direction.
Yes,
I do the same thing for Chicago. I'm like, hey, yo, it's a kid in 25, kid in 26.
Yeah, take a look.
You need to look at him.
Yeah.
And Left is out there. Left loves every kid from California. Every kid, like, oh, I got this 8th grader. He hit me the other day about an 8th grader. Like, oh, I got this 8th grader.
He's gonna be the truth. He's gonna be the truth. But that's He's 6'2". Man, this man is gonna be great.
Quarterback. Yeah. I got a little 8th grader too that got in the game. I got a little 8th grader too, Jalen Hinton. He got in the game, even though I probably shouldn't be talking about him because he was supposed to really play.
Right.
But he got in a 7-on-7 last week against Maryland. Coach, can I get in, man? I said, know what? We up. Get in the game. Mind you, he has no conscience. He's young. 3 plays, touchdown. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Touchdown. 1, 2, 3. 3 plays, 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 I said, wow. We was the whole time, 7-on-7, you just trying to move the chains, like you said, the chain mover. So we just dropping it, dropping it down. He comes in the game like, no, one chance. 3 plays, touchdown. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He's good though. He's probably gonna be our starter for 4 years straight after next year or so.
Yeah, okay. Y'all should come play Lakewood, come to California for a game, man.
That'd be awesome. We can put that together. Y'all going listen, man. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm telling you.
We got nice palm trees, nice stadium.
It would be nice to see you and Rakai, the offensive minds, go up against each other.
No, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Hey,
we gotta get a videographer for that one.
Yeah, for sure. We thoroughly enjoyed having you on, bro. And I tell all Notre Dame, I speak for Notre Dame fans when I say you brought us plenty of memories and joy on the field. And we pray for God's abundant blessings in all of your endeavors off the field.
Thank you.
As well. Because we love you on the field, but we love you off the field just as much here as Notre Dame fans. Absolutely. So Rakai Nelson, once again, June 19th, virtual 5K. RunSignup.com. Get involved.
Yes.
For a great call.
Also, Ken, follow the Skills Development Academy, man. You gotta get this thing rolling.
That's right.
Are you guys good up there with all the air quality stuff?
No, we're the worst in the country. Actually, I know it always sounds when Rakai's talking, he's exaggerating, right? No, we're the worst in the country. 500. The max is 500. We're at 500. Harrisburg's the only place at 500. We're at 500. Really? Yeah, because it's a valley. It's called the Susquehanna Valley.
Okay.
So everything sinks inside of it. So like Susquehanna Indians, like everything sinks inside of it. So it's all crazy up here. Yeah, we couldn't even have practice yesterday. We didn't have practice yesterday.
Wow.
Nope.
So hey, Notre Dame fans, send your prayers out to the Harrisburg area, the entire Pennsylvania area. Yeah. And we'll be praying for you, bro. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. See you guys.
Rakai Nelson, former Notre Dame wide receiver, right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Yo, that was a great guest, bro.
That's right.
That was a great guest. Him and Bennett Jackson back to back. For you young Notre Dame fans out there, go do your research and find out about the Air Force play, the Jarius Jackson touchdown to Rakai against number 1 Michigan. One of the greatest offensive plays in the history, one of the most memorable plays in the history of Notre Dame football. I watched it as a kid, bro. So I was watching it live, like, oh, snap. I can't believe they scored on that. That was a great game as well. Michigan, fumbled the ball 4 times that day. It was crazy.
Sounds very Michigan-like.
Yeah, they were, man. And Tom Brady looked like somebody you wanted to punch. Even then, it was like, dude, who is this chump? But,
I feel about Trevor Siemian to this day. I can't get over that.
You are still holding a grudge against Trevor Siemian, bro?
Man, because, usually I'm up and up on who's pretty good and not in college football, on my own evaluation terms.
Uh-huh.
And he really surprised me that day, having that. He had that it factor that I don't know what it was in the air, or man, you could just tell it wasn't just a fluke. Like he was actually dialing our ass up for real. And I was like, man, I was just mad because I'm like, man, who is this Trevor Siemian dude?
And then, like you said, the crazy thing was they were dropping bombs.
Oh man, they had 5 touchdowns easy. Everybody was like, what's wrong with the receivers at Northwestern?
Yeah.
Because this could have been one of the worst blowouts at home in a while. And it's crazy because Trevor Siemian ended up having a little career. That's how I knew he was good, because of how he ended up having
a darn good NFL career as a backup. Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, okay. But damn, even still, he had a really good game that day.
So once again,
the difference is because I felt like that about him, about Trevor Siemian, but I didn't feel like that again about DJ when he had a great game against us that day.
All right.
So it's levels too.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Yo, this is fantastic, man. Fantastic. Once again, runsignup.com. Go support Bennett Jackson, his efforts Rakai Nelson, his efforts with our guy Trevor and their entire movement is giving back to the neighborhoods and giving back to where we came from. We appreciate that. They supported us for the Blue and Gold weekend, helped us with our show that we did live, and we're helping to give back and support all of the events that they're going to be doing. They have a big event for the Tennessee State game. So if you're going to be in town to South Bend, make sure you lock in and get involved with that. So many great things coming up throughout the rest of the summer and this season. So we'll keep you posted right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast and also on our social media platforms at SD2 Mics, at Overtime Malik, and Malik Zaire 8. Once again today, look, Carter Nelson made it, Left. He made it. And this kid, tight end, 6'7", he might be the next Tyler Eifert if we can land him. I think it's going to be Notre Dame and Georgia, honestly. It's between Notre Dame and Georgia for the young man. As I said before, he plays unconventional football because of where he lives, Ainsworth and Nebraska. And it's just different, Left. Just a different athlete. When you watch him on the basketball court, I want to make sure. I think he high jumps something crazy. Like, I think he broke 10 feet? I think it might have been 10 feet, Left.
Damn.
But it was something crazy. Let's see if we can pull this up again. It said I had an error message here. But it's Carter Nelson, Ainsworth, Nebraska. Oh, well. Yeah, we'll use this one instead.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on with the other video. But this is him playing quarterback. Like I said, I think they play on a shorter field. It's like 8-on-8, 9-on-9, something like that. He's tight end, but he's playing quarterback.
I mean, we offering guys an 8-man.
Hey, when they play when you see him play basketball and you see his athleticism, I think, was it the Priest-Corn? Not the Priest-Corn kid. The kid he is from a similar area as the freshman tight end that jumped on the scene for Michigan last year. They're both from like similar areas, different style, unconventional football, super athletic on campus. So we'll see how Notre Dame does. He was at Georgia last week with Justin Scott and the rest of that crew. Elijah Rushing arrived yesterday. Shaun Sevillano, the commit, is in. Saw him make it in. Bradley Shaw made it in. Oliver Miles made it in. Also, I saw Carson Hobbs. I saw Bodie Cahoon, the commits. Cole Mullins, the commit. Logan Thomas is back on campus. This cat, Logan Thomas, loves Notre Dame. Texas kid. He's been on campus 3 times in the last 2 months. And he's already committed. And Cam Williams, Cam Williams is one of the Pied Pipers of the class, along with C.J. Carr and Jack Larson. So we'll see how things turn up. We'll give you more of an update on things. And will basketball be involved with his recruitment? No, I don't think Carter Nelson is looking to play basketball.
No. Not if you're looking at tight end Notre Dame. Why?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think he is. He could try to walk on or something, but it is. You know what time it is. Oh, this is about to be fun.
Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Stories of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com. Let's get to it. Have you ever had someone that you know become the donkey of the day on the Breakfast Club?
Okay.
My good friend, and I am serious when I say it, good friend, was named Donkey of the Day on the Breakfast Club this morning. His name is Xavier Pope. You can follow him at Xavier Pope on Twitter. He went to high school with my wife. I've known him since like grammar school. We go way back. I went to U of I with a bunch of his friends, and we worked together. He used to come on our shows and do a sports law segment back in the day over at WGN. He goes on the petty train because he was a donkey of the day because his Uber driver had his food, inboxed him and said, yo, I don't have enough gas to drive towards you and give you your food. Can you send me a little something right now? A little $5 or something I can throw in the tank, 5 or 10. When I get to you, I'll get you your food, and then we can find a way, to deal with the situation. He kept contacting X, trying to make sure he could figure out something. X ignored his calls. X then went on Twitter, tweeting about the situation, screenshotted their conversation in the inbox in the app, and then threatened to call the police on him. Then he put him in Uber prison by contacting Uber support. And the gentleman was just trying to, fulfill the order. Who knows what the reason it was behind him not having gas, left his wallet at home, whatever. I don't know. He could have the same thing he asked X. I will say this is the same thing he could have asked one of his family members. Like, yo, send me something right quick. But X, I think he did a little bit too much. He did a little bit too much. And I'm not putting him on the petty train because of that. I'm putting him on the petty train because he got mad and went on Twitter because he was actually given a donkey of the day. And then he said he was going to have to look at legal recourse for what the Breakfast Club did to him. I had to hit my boy like, man, what are you doing? You're about to sue the Breakfast Club for getting the donkey of the day? How about you spin this into a great situation for you? The light is on you. Build your brand, bro. Let people know what it is that you do. No. And I'm like, yo, I don't like my friends being put out like that. But really, when I watched him do it and I watched Charlamagne give it to him, he barely tapped him. I've seen Charlamagne go hard on people. He gave him a love tap. That's all he gave him. He gave him a love tap. And it was like ingested and fun. So I had to put my boy, Dominique Jones, all aboard. My sister, come on over. One way, no round trip, one way.
Yeah, it's
the fact that you, as a married woman, would be in a relationship with another man and act as if you can control him and control who he talks to. And when you see that he talks to other females, you get mad and then you call your brother and his friends and tell them to shoot his up.
Everybody but him. Everything but him.
And then this man defends himself because the idiots actually go to his home. He kills one of the men, injures one of the other men, and spends 2 years behind bars because of your foolishness once again as a married woman. You're married. Travis Rudolph, former wide receiver at Florida State, someone that Malik played against in his days at Notre Dame, sat behind bars for 2 years because of this foolishness. Someone lost their life because of your foolishness. And you had the audacity during the trial to sit on the stand when they asked you about the text message. What do you mean by shoot up his SHIT? What did you mean by that? Your response was everything but him. How does that work? I didn't know guns work like that. I didn't know you could program guns to shoot up everything, but you could tell the bullets to avoid him. As you leave the gun, light up everything else, the house, exterior, interior, but make sure you avoid him. And you sat there on the witness stand and actually said that as if it made sense. Then you had the nerve to look that man in his eye under sworn testimony and say that you still love him. The nerve. If I had been a family member, I would have definitely got after you somewhere at some point during those 2 years. You lied about being abused. The ring footage showed that. You told the men that he body slammed you multiple times on your way to the car. And the ring footage shows you beating the heck out of him.
Just silly.
And a man died because of this. He's dead. Because as a married woman, you wanted to check what your boyfriend was doing. And you sent people to his house to teach him a lesson. But you're married. And your brother, who knew that you were married, is an even bigger idiot. Bro, this is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. Ever. And the fact that she's walking around this earth as a free person is mind-boggling to me. She was the cause of someone's death. How is she free? How is she free? It's disturbing, man. That man could have been in jail for the rest of his life, bro. So, watch who you link yourself to, man. That's all I'm saying. Think twice about the ones you link yourself to, man.
I mean, no remorse.
And women. She had no remorse. None. None. She's being cross-examined. They got the list of her text messages to every one gentleman that went to his house. And do you remember saying this? Don't remember. What do you mean you don't remember? You literally have the paper right in front of you.
Don't remember.
So you don't remember anything about that night, other than you told them to shoot all of his up except for him.
And don't remember deleting the text.
Don't remember deleting the text. Don't remember the phone conversations. None of that.
But you remember that everything else to be shot up by him.
This man was headed to a tryout in the CFL. The next week, you ruined his career. For what? For what? And the fact that she said she got body slammed multiple times on the way to her car, bro.
And then said that he's never hit her or done anything physical to her. So how does it work? How do you get body slammed when you admit he hasn't been physical with you? How do you say, and she's like, did he ever put his hands on you? No. Did he ever hit you? No. So how did he body slam you then?
Oh, man. Lucky Lefty podcast. Have a great weekend, guys. But most of all, make sure that you stay away from the Dominique Joneses of this world and continue to spit it different. We'll see you on Monday.